slowly but surely. Okay, then Dr. Kathy, it is all yours. I will turn it over to you and you're all set.
Okay, well, welcome everyone. I see there's so many new people on tonight, which is great. I don't know all of you, so let me introduce myself. My name is Kathy Lawson, and I'm the Chief Knowledge Officer for the Great Discovery. And as Tim said, tonight we're going to do training around the Great Discovery, but we're going to show you how to use it to really accelerate your business growth, whether it's on our platform or just in general, how we're going to use our, our signature course. And so I always am excited to teach that because there's so much power, so much potential there. And what I want to know, I'm sitting here, and we are on the verge of some pretty big changes coming up, transformations coming up. And, just tomorrow night, a whole new affiliate, like almost like a rebirth or a transformation for our affiliates. And then Discovery Saturday, a whole bunch of new things being announced. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of feel like a kid on Christmas Eve. I'm excited. I've got anticipation. And, I'm not sure exactly how it's going to turn out, but I'm pretty excited. So I'm curious, would you guys put in chat, what are you feeling? Give me one word. How you guys feeling tonight? Let's see where you all are at. Especially some of you excited, all right? Some of you new people too. If this is your first time, maybe just, you're curious, not sure what's going on, what you're going to hear, what this is about. Okay, good. Eager? Yeah, there's a excitement in the air. Fired up. All right. Yeah. Great. Optimistic. Yeah, there's excitement in the air. So I want to talk to you about the Great Discovery, but I also want to take a step back because it's so important, especially, whether you've heard the story before, doesn't hurt to repeat it. And if you are new and you haven't heard it, I'm just going to give you sort of the quick abridged version of the history of the Great Discovery and its predecessor, Six Sigma, because it's so important, especially at our juncture right now, as we are about to move forward into a new era and a new way of being and a new way of bringing people onto our platform and a new way of, basically empowering humanity as we talk about. It's important to touch base with our roots and see where we're at, because here's the thing that's so important and always so interesting to me, but actually pretty sobering if you really think about it, because I lived the history of Six Sigma. I grew up in Six Sigma, starting my professional career at Motorola, where Six Sigma started. It came around 6 months after I started. And so literally I grew up with it. But I look back and I reflect on what happened. And there were a couple of pivotal moments in that history that if someone had just made a different decision at a juncture in time, we would not be sitting here tonight. And to me, that's a little bit of a sobering thought, because it's like, wow, if it had gone this way instead of that way, someone had said this instead of that, we wouldn't be here tonight. So the fact that we are, to me, is very encouraging and exciting, because it says, look, there's a history there that has proven itself. It has been around for 40 years. It has something to offer, and we're moving into a new era. So I'm very excited about that, and I want to share that with you. So, and then I want to tie that into how that helps you with your business, where you're at. So that's where we're going to go tonight with this training. So let's get started. So like I said, I'm going to do a little bit of an overview of the history. Now, you may have heard Sandra give the detailed history of Michael Harry, her late husband. Michael was my mentor and teacher and good friend. So I also have a history with him. In fact, I've known him longer than she did. So as I said, I started at Motorola as an engineer right out of college, and I was there to help them improve processes and make things better. It was a serious issue that Motorola had quality. In fact, they were sinking. The ship was sinking, and it was pretty dire. And so this is kind of how it went. So let me give you Michael's picture here and background. So Michael is credited as being the co-creator and chief architect of Six Sigma. So just painting the background, Motorola was, like I said, in dire trouble. They were sinking. They were losing customers, losing money. The CEO was the son of the company founder. So Paul Galvin founded the company. His son, Bob Galvin, was the CEO at that time. And he had been aware for quite some time, about 6 years, that quality was an issue and customers were unhappy, but he didn't really know what to do. He asked a lot of people, got a lot of input. Nothing really seemed to be the right answer. And then one day, an engineer by the name of Bill Smith took a chance and wrote a paper to Bob Galvin. And his paper said, look, we could solve all of our quality problems if we adopted a Six Sigma level of quality. Now, you know what, here's the thing. You can go Google Six Sigma and you can get into all of the stats if you want to, all of the data and all of that, if you're so inclined. You don't have to worry about it, actually. Sigma is just a measure of goodness, and bigger is better. Six is really good. But just to kind of paint the picture, where Motorola was at, was they were at a 95% level of quality, 95% good, which is 2 Sigma. What does that mean? That means for every 100 products that they started on the production line, 5 of them had a problem of some sort. And that meant that they either had to fix it or throw it away. And that meant extra cost. Well, if you're only building 100 things, you might think 5 might not be so bad. But when you're building tens of thousands of things, 5% of that adds up to a lot of money. So that's the scenario. That's where the company was. And so here's this engineer that comes along and says, I think we should do Six Sigma. And just to give you the picture, Six Sigma is 3 defects or 3 bad products out of 1 million. So from 5 out of 100 to 3 out of 1 million. Huge, huge, big difference. Now, if you think about CEOs and how they're measured and how they respond to things, most CEOs then, as well as now, are measured by their board of directors by how they perform in the current quarter, right? Sales, profit, performance, that kind of stuff in the current quarter. And that's how most of them think. They're thinking about, well, what can I do to make myself and the company look good in the next quarter so the board doesn't fire me, right? That's kind of what happens. So here's Bob Galvin wrestling with this problem that's been around for a lot of years. And the solution is not a quick fix. And he's got to look forward to how is he going to do this. In that moment, this is one of those key pivotal moments. He read Bill Smith's paper and he makes the decision to say yes to Six Sigma. Now, what he could have said is, no, that's really, I thank you, Bill, for your inputs. That's really an aggressive goal, and we'll consider that in the future. But I think for now, if we could just go for 4 Sigma, that would be good enough. And it would have been. It would have been tremendous, because 4 Sigma is about 1 defect in 10,000. So from 5 in 100 to 1 in 10,000 would have been phenomenal. So right there is a pivotal moment in history, because Bob Galvin said yes to Six Sigma. And not only did he say yes to it, but he said yes to doing it over 5 years. So again, remember, CEOs look at the quarter or the next quarter. Here's a CEO looking at 5 years to get to this phenomenal level of performance. It's an extraordinary decision, and it set the course of history for us. So we could sit here and talk about it now, 40 years later. And so that's the scenario. Now, here's the thing about it. Nobody knew how to do it. It had never been done. There wasn't even, any kind of roadmap or anything, except for this man, Michael Harry, right here. Michael had just finished his PhD in 1984. This was 1986 that the paper was written by Bill Smith. And in Michael's PhD thesis, he actually outlines a problem-solving system, which he called the logic filters. And Sandra goes through that when she does the history. I'm not going to cover it here. But he basically had the blueprint for Six Sigma at that point. And Bob Galvin knew it. So he goes and asks Michael, hey, Michael, we want to do this Six Sigma thing over the next 5 years. I need someone to lead it for the corporation. We don't know how to do it. I think you might have an idea. Will you lead it for us? And again, another pivotal decision. Michael's a 1.5 years out of graduate school. And he says, yes, Bill, I will, or Bob, I will lead this for the company. So again, what if he had backed off and said no, or I'm not sure, it's not ready, whatever, but he didn't. And that is why he is credited as being the co-creator of Six Sigma and the chief architect, because he had the framework. And he stepped up and he said yes. Let me tell you in my message tonight, the power of yes, you're going to hear all over the place, because that is when great things happen. When you step into that power and say, yes, I'm willing to try it. I have no idea how it's going to work. I have no idea where we're going to go, but I say yes. That's what I got to do. They gave me the paper of Bill Smith and said, read it. I read it. My quality manager and mentor said to me, what do you think? And I'm like, I'm so excited. Let's do it. He goes, well, what would you do? And I go, I have no idea. I really didn't. I was only 6 months out of school. But when we decide to do it as a company, please sign me up. And in that moment, I said yes, because I didn't know where we were going, but I knew it was going to be great. So, you know, there's those early years with Six Sigma were so important because they set the groundwork for what was to follow. And Michael basically created the architecture and brought it forward. So where are we today? Well, a few years back, the MIT Sloan School of Management declared Six Sigma as one of the top 10 business innovations of the last 150 years. Let's pause there for a minute, right? Because 150 years ago was 1875. 1875, think about 1875 to 2025 and all the things that have happened. How they did business in 1875 and how we do business today, pretty drastically different, right? And can you imagine the people doing this? They sit around, they brainstorm. What are all the business innovations that happened over the last 150 years? I'll bet they had 100 things on their list or more, maybe. You know, things like the production line, the Model T Ford production line by Ford, because that really set the stage for modern manufacturing methods, and the internet and so many other things. And then they had to narrow it down to 10. And Six Sigma makes the list. And at that point, Six Sigma hadn't even been around for 40 years. This was probably 7 or 8 years ago. And it made the list. And why did it make the list? It made the list because Six Sigma transformed the world of business. Plain and simple, it transformed the world of business. It was phenomenal. It really was the world's best problem solving and process improvement system, built on the ideas of Michael Harry. So it's a fantastic tool, and companies all over the world, it didn't seem to matter what their industry was, service industries, manufacturing industries, technology industries, healthcare industries, all of them benefited if they employed Six Sigma. They all got benefit out of it. Now, here's the thing. If you talk to every company that tried Six Sigma, not all of them are going to give you a positive story. And let's talk about why that might be. Well, you know, here's the thing. When Michael deployed his method, it was 5 years at Motorola and a whole lot of investment. He went on to deploy it at other big companies like GE and Allied Signal and DuPont and Ford and a whole bunch of others. And every company that he worked with spent at least 5 years, a couple of years, and a whole lot of money. It was an investment. GE, tens of millions of dollars. Ford, tens of millions of dollars. Now, a company, think about a company writing checks for tens of millions of dollars to invest in something that's going to take several years to realize some return on investment. Why would they do that? You know, what would motivate them? Well, in every case where Michael worked with the groups, the companies, those companies saw at least a 1,000x return on that investment, in some cases a 10,000 x return on that investment, billions of dollars savings. Motorola got $8 billion in savings, you know, GE like $20 billion in savings. So the check for $10 million is paltry compared to the return that they got back. Other companies weren't willing to do that. They just wanted to kind of dip their toe in the pool of Six Sigma and hope that they'd get the benefits. And the way they did it was they sent a few people off to go get training in Six Sigma and said, when you come back, let's run some projects and see what happens. Well, in those cases, whether those companies wanted to admit it or not, I'm pretty sure they did receive some benefit from doing that. It just wasn't to the scale that these companies that were all in got from their investment in Six Sigma. So if you invest a little bit, you get a little bit of return. If you invest a lot and you do it right, you get a big return. And that's what happened with the companies that were all in. And so that's why you see a spectrum of companies that have used Six Sigma. Some did it very well and are great case studies, and others not so much because they weren't all in. Now, that's important because that's going to have some relevance on what we're going to talk about here in a moment. But the next thing I want to talk about is, how did Six Sigma lead to the Great Discovery? How did that come about? What's the tie-in there? Well, as it turned out, Michael got challenged by a couple of CEOs over the course of working in Six Sigma. And I'm just going to cut to the chase. He got two in particular. He got asked by Jack Welch at GE, you know, Six Sigma is great. It really helps me understand what's going on in my company. But you know what? And he said, what about the other 95%? And what he meant by that was that the people who were deploying Six Sigma in his company, the numbers of people, it was about 5% of the population. Now, a lot of people were involved in helping out and maybe, you know, taking some training and all of that, but they weren't the drivers and they weren't the champions and they weren't the people that caused the breakthrough. They were just there to lend their knowledge on the particular process or area that was being worked on, but they didn't really understand it. And what Jack was curious about is, could you make Six Sigma understandable to the other 95%? That was his question. Meanwhile, later, when Michael was working with Ford, Jack Nasser said to him, you know what, I'd pay you more money if you would just teach us how you think. So Michael started to think about that. Well, how do I think? And so these two key things, there were others along the way, but these were probably the two pivotal things that happened that spurred him to look at Six Sigma, and could he take Six Sigma and make it so it was teachable, repeatable, and understandable by a lot more people than the 5% that Jack Welch was talking about. And that's where the Great Discovery came from. Now, here's the thing. As Six Sigma rolled out and evolved over time, every evolution, just like so many things that endure so long, decades and centuries, it evolves, right? So at Motorola, they were focused on quality. At GE, they realized that not only could they improve quality, but they could reduce their business costs. And at DuPont started asking about things that could we provide value to our shareholders by designing for Six Sigma and looking at the future of strategy and all of that. So those became generations or evolutions of Six Sigma. So by the time Michael got to this phase where he started to think about the other 95% and how we thought about Six Sigma, his thought process, the Great Discovery became known as the fourth generation of Six Sigma. So that's why we call it that, because it was born out of the evolutions of Six Sigma deployed in companies all over the world with huge success. And it didn't really matter what culture, what industry, you know, wherever it was deployed, if it was done where the company went all in, it was done well and there was significant returns. But I want to point out something. That 5%, I remember having a conversation with Michael about the 5%. Sometime after he had worked with GE, and it bothered him a lot. And he was talking about, you know, the 5% of the people that really understood Six Sigma. And I know when he first told me, I was a little surprised by it. And I was a little, I played devil's advocate. I said, well, Michael, there's lots of other people involved in Six Sigma than just 5%. And he goes, yeah, but 5% of the people are the ones who really understand it and deploy it. He said, we got to make it, you know, we got to reach other people. But again, in hindsight, those 5%, that 5% of those people, they changed the world because Six Sigma changed the world. So 5% can move mountains, okay? That's important because as we sit here today on the eve of another evolution of the Great Discovery, my question to you is, are you ready to be part of the next 5%? You want to empower humanity. You want to, bring knowledge and, wonderful content to all over the globe. Guess what? You all sitting here today, if you choose to be all in, could be part of the 5% that brings the great discovery to the world. And you know what? Just like that first 5% in Six Sigma changed the world, we can change the world as well. So I want you to think about that, because it's really pivotal right now. This history shows us what we can accomplish, and we're poised to move into the next generation of the great discovery. We can change the world. And you can make the decision. Are you all in, or just want to dip your toe in at this point? Let's see. All right. So welcome to the great discovery. This is what we call our proven path. And this is how we teach it to you. We teach this diagram essentially, and we teach it to you by starting up in the upper right-hand corner and moving across the top where it says innovation. So basically what that means is we start this whole process by having you visualize and think about what you're hoping to accomplish. And then we lay out the path, and then we round the bend at the bottom, and we go into execution. We follow through. And this is what happened with Six Sigma. We were thinking about, what can we do? I mean, again, just looking back on parallels, people would say to me, I've run hundreds, maybe thousands, I don't know, hundreds for sure, of Six Sigma projects. And how many times someone would stay at the start of it, we've tried this before. I just don't think you're going to be able to do anything more than what we've already accomplished. And I'd be like, yeah, maybe, maybe not. Let's see what we can do. And then about 3 months later, when we broke through, people were like, wow, I never thought that was possible. And here's the thing. The same thing can happen for each and every one of you. So if you have that Great Discovery International course as one of your courses, which many of you do, if you have the Success Pack, Pro Packs, those kinds of things, you have the knowledge of being able to do that breakthrough. And the investment looks like this. It's about 2 to 3 hours a week for about 10 to 12 weeks. Now, if you do that, and you spend the time doing the exercises that we've put on there and thinking about the things that we ask you to do, you'll start to see that breakthrough in your thinking. Remember, teach us how you think, Michael. Michael's teaching us how he thinks through the Great Discovery, and you can learn it. What the Great Discovery is we call it a second order change. What does that mean? Well, let's talk about a first order change first. A first order change would be something like this, and I'll bet you some of you can relate to this. We come off a holiday season, and we've had a great party time. We've had lots of gatherings with family and friends, and we've imbibed a little bit, and we've had some great food and all of that. And maybe we packed on 25, 30 pounds that maybe we don't really want. So come January 1st, man, we make a New Year's resolution and we are going to lose that weight. And we are really good about focusing on losing that weight. And come the end of March, lo and behold, we've lost 30 pounds and we feel really good about that. Okay, so we've made a first order change. We have lost the weight. We have done the things that we need to do, and we've lost the weight. We've made a change. But then what happens next? Well, May comes along, there's some graduations, June, maybe there's some weddings we go to, we go on vacation, and we're eating a little bit of wedding cake, we're eating a little bit of food on our vacation. Come September 1st, that 30 pounds has found its way back onto us, and it brought along another 5 or 6 pounds to go with it. So now suddenly we've gained the weight back. Well, that's a first order change, folks. We recognized we needed to change, we did something, we had a result, but it didn't last. A second order change is we make the change and it lasts. So people who talk about losing weight and then making like a lifestyle change in the way they eat, the way they approach food and exercise and all of that, they've made a second order change. The Great Discovery thought process is a second order change. When you do more than dip your toe into the pool, when you actually engage in the exercises and you put it to work for you on something that you care about, the thought process starts to change, and you are on your way to making that second order change, and you will never think the same way again. So it's a very powerful thing, but you've gotta decide, are you all in? Are you just gonna kind of dance around it a little bit? You can get a lot of benefit just by dipping your toe in the pool, but you can get even more benefit by diving right in and trying it for yourself. So here's what it looks like, and I'm gonna take you through this for business. All right, so we start over here on the right, and we talk about a mission. A mission is a life dream. What kind of mission might you have for your business? Maybe making it a profitable, sustainable business, right? That could be your mission statement. Something that you get to enjoy. What is it that you do that brings joy to you and brings satisfaction to your customers? What does that look like? So you start out by visualizing that end state. And you know what? We tie it to values, because that was the driving force behind Motorola. Bob Galvin had a value of satisfying customers, and he knew that he wasn't getting the job done with the current level of performance. And Six Sigma was his way of being able to satisfy his customers. That was his value, very strong value. Well, we all have values, right? What are our internal values? What lights us up? What brings us joy? What gets us fired up in the morning? Well, we go through this in the Great Discovery. We talk about our intrinsic core values. And together, the mission with the core values become our what we're hoping to accomplish, and our why. So the mission here, just a mission statement: to create or grow, if you have an existing business, a sustainable, profitable business that satisfies and delights customers. The core values will provide your why. Why are you in business? You know, is there an alignment there? Because here's the thing, if there's not an alignment there, doesn't mean you can't be successful in business. You're just not going to enjoy it as much. So why not tie it to your core values? And for those of you that struggle to maybe promote and do the social media posts and the networking and all of that, I will guarantee you this: if you come from the space of your core values, you know what they are, and you're talking about your business in terms of why it excites you, what you're getting out of it, what your values are, that energy will come across differently than if you're just talking about, yeah, I got this e-learning business and you can make money at it. But if you come from it, from your values, you're going to be excited, you're going to be engaged, and people respond to that. And it becomes a way for you to bring people in without really selling, because you're just talking about it from a natural level of excitement. So core values become really critical to helping you craft your message, figure out how to approach people, and get them excited about what you're doing because you're excited about what you're doing. So this is what we do in our first step. And just to kind of take you through it, again, 2 to 3 hours a week for about 10 to 12 weeks. What would you be doing? Well, if you're doing the Great Discovery International, you're in stage 1, which we call do the dreaming. We're visualizing that end state, that life dream, and our core values. You're watching some of our videos. You're completing some exercises around what we call step 0, which is mission, and step 1, which is core values. And if you need it, go get some coaching. We have wonderful coaches that will help you. And in this stage, you declare your mission, you identify your core values, and you find that alignment. And that should give you a pretty clear picture of where you want to go. But you know what? There's even more. Here's what's so cool about our e-learning environment, because inevitably the Great Discovery will help you lay this out and give you the path forward, but you might need additional knowledge from other people who have a point of view and have some relevant information to convey to you. Well, guess what? We have 1,000 courses on our platform, and there's a couple of them that will help you every step of the way here. There's a lot of them that will help you every step of the way. I picked a few. Let's look at this. So in this first stage, do the dreaming, guess what? Here's 4 free courses that are on our platform that would help with this first stage. There's at least 40 out there. I picked 4 just to have them. Okay, so here's some things. Core values from Allison. Words of encouragement from Scott. Matt DeMayo helps you with your memory. And Nikki, overcoming overwhelm, because it can be overwhelming to have a life dream and realize maybe I can actually accomplish this. So that's the beauty of our e-learning platform. You can take the Great Discovery and take the other courses that support your learning and your journey from where you are to your life dream in business mastery. And if you want to go further, hey, there's some premium courses. These are, again, just a couple I picked. So not very expensive. You know, here's something from Michael Whitehouse about values, vision, and gratitude. Ties right in with this step. And a positive purpose. You could take other classes. It's so powerful what we have created here. So I just want you to realize all the potential. And not only for yourself, but can you imagine selling this to someone? If you talk to someone who's trying to grow their business, could you sell them this? The Great Discovery plus all these other courses to help them grow their business to whatever vision they have? I think you could. All right, so let's keep moving on here. So we've got, as we move down, the next thing we do is we determine what we call a catalyst dream. And if you think about the word catalyst, it is a force for change, a force that causes breakthrough. In chemistry, a catalyst makes a chemical reaction go faster. It causes breakthrough. And that's really what this is here. In the Motorola world, the catalyst was Six Sigma. We knew we had a quality problem. We knew we wanted to satisfy customers. The way it was done was through Six Sigma. That was the catalyst. It was completely disruptive, total trailblazing, and a really, really big dream. That's what your catalyst is. So what might it look like for you? And I put it within 6 months. Motorola took 5 years. You don't need to take 5 years. You can do these things within 6 months. 6 months from now is October 1st. So you can think about that 6 months going to go by anyway. Why not put this to work for what you're trying to do with your business? And you can fill in the blank here for some of these. These are just ideas, you know, possible catalysts. Grow the number of clients that you have or the number of people in your network to a certain number. Create so many dollars of cash flow. Create so many dollars of profit. You know, to understand cash flow and profit, you got to understand where you're investing in your business and what you're getting back for return, just like GE and Motorola and Ford did, spending tens of millions of dollars, but recognizing that they're going to get billions back. How much are you spending and what are you hoping to get back? Have you done that analysis? What can you get back for profit? Can you realize $20,000 a month in revenue, $50,000 a month in revenue? You know, those are big dreams. So, and then maybe just be able to quit your day job if you have one, if you don't, if your business is not your total career at this point. So this is Catalyst. And the idea here is dream big. And guess what? Great Discovery takes you through step 2. You can have a Catalyst coaching session, and you can have a statement that says, within 6 months, my business will have achieved, and you fill in the blank, whatever that looks like. Here's some classes on our platform that might help with that. Some things about business mastery, profit maximizer, okay? Self-sufficiency, creating a profitable, sustainable business. That's what our mission is. Okay, and some premium courses. Okay, we've got it. We've got it covered. You can learn what you need to learn. You can be working on your proven path. And at the same time, you're growing your business. So it's a beautiful thing. Moving on. Okay, so that gives us the vision. We know where we want to go. We know why we want to do it because we have our values identified and we have this big catalyst that we've specified. Now the question is, I'm starting here. How do I get from here to there? What do I do? Well, that's what we call the proven path. And these are just really milestones. These are things, milestones are a collection of actions that are related to a theme or a topic that you need to complete in order to realize that catalyst. And here's the thing, I'm going to give you an example of a bunch of them for business mastery. Now, some of these may pertain to you, some of them may not. Maybe there's something that's not on that list that you need to add, but this is a starting point for you. Here's 8 different things. Your financial plan. This is where you need to understand how much am I going to invest and what can I expect to get back. That's what that trade-off was for Motorola and GE and all of those. I'm going to invest $10 million. Not just going to write a check for $10 million and, you know, hope I get something back. Trust me, they did some analysis about what they could possibly achieve, and they understood that. So what is your financial plan? What are you investing in, and what are you hoping to get back? Maybe you don't have a financial plan, so that's a good milestone. Create one. You know, we're talking about AI. There's so much that we do these days that's related to AI. You have to grow some skills there. Do you have to develop a business plan? Do you have a brand, a signature brand? How about your marketing plan? So these are all different things that you potentially might have to put on your proven path. And here's the thing, your proven path for business mastery may look different than somebody else's, and that's totally fine. It's all dependent on what catalyst you pick, where your starting point is, and what you need to do to achieve what you're hoping to achieve. So these are just some ideas so you don't have to start from scratch. Here's the other thing that's beautiful about all of this. For each one of these topics, if you go out to our platform, there are courses around each one of these. So you can learn more about developing a business plan. You can learn more about a financial plan and how to be profitable. James and Ed have wonderful courses about AI mastery. And then there's even more that other people have put out there that are just phenomenal. So there's a whole lot of stuff you can learn about AI mastery. And there's a whole lot of stuff you can learn about marketing. So you've got not only the path and the ideas that you need, but you've got resources to help you. So again, I'm going to ask, can you sell this to someone that is trying to start a business or grow a business in addition to working on your own? I hope you can see that you could. So let me show you a couple of these. So you would do in the course, you would complete steps 3 and 4, you would identify your milestones. And here's the other thing, you're going to find out that some of those milestones are going to be more of a problem for you than others. If it were easy, you would have done it. Just like Six Sigma, if it were easy, we would have done it. And we didn't, we know there's problems. So this teaches you what to do with those problematic milestones. And part of that is going to be learning something, learning about it and getting some information. So just a couple of these, here's again, some examples of these milestones and the types of courses that we have. And just is just a small segment. And if, you know, I didn't pick your course, no offense to you at all. I just had so many to choose from. I picked a few just for illustration purposes. So developing a business plan, you know, here's a financial plan. Okay, so there's so much that you can get from our platform and that you can offer to someone who's trying to learn how to manage their own business. Moving on, we know from Six Sigma, we know you're going to run into the wall occasionally. That's what happened in Six Sigma. But we got you covered. We can also teach you how to break through. And it's around this thing called forces. There are forces that work that move you forward and forces that hold you back. And this whole step is about understanding those, reducing your restraining forces and increasing your driving forces. So you would focus on that in this phase. It's called Plan the Doing. And again, some other courses that could help you figure out, you know, how to break through, how to succeed. In fact, tonight's course Spotlight is all about that too. So it's awesome, how to be successful. So it fits in. And then finally, you get down, like I said, to this last bar and you have to do the work. You have to do the plan that you've put together step by step. You know, what I do and what my coaches do is we help illuminate the path for you by showing you this and helping you lay it out. And we will walk every step of the way with you, but we can't do it for you. It's up to you to do it. But if you're all in, you're going to be excited. You're going to want to do it. So again, are you going to be part of that 5% that's going to change the world using the Great Discovery? Just dangling that out there for you. Okay. What you do here is you pretty much stay the course, complete your actions, and get help. Please reach out for help when you need it. All right, so what I want to do is, with that in mind, so you can use this to grow your own business. And part of growing your business, if you're an affiliate or even a course creator, doesn't matter what role you're playing, is you're going to try to bring on learners. That's our next phase. We're going to try to bring on learners. So imagine your conversation with a new learner on our platform. And you say, would you like to learn something new? And your learner says, yeah, I would. You go, great, you've come to the right place. We have 1,000 courses covering over 50 different topics of interest. Now let's pause there. If you're the learner, what are you feeling in this moment? Are you feeling a little bit of overwhelm? Are you feeling a little bit of, whoa, what do I do next? Maybe. But you know what? We got you covered. So yeah, learner, that's a lot. Where do I start? Okay, so glad you asked that. Let's get you started on what we're going to call a pathway of discovery. What I just showed you with the business mastery is a pathway of discovery. It's an organized curriculum leading to a deeper knowledge of topics that allows a learner to realize a life dream. That's really what this is all about. Helping somebody realize something of value to themselves in their life. And we can craft these now that we have so many wonderful courses on our platform. We can craft these menus of courses for almost any topic you can think of. We have so many. So let's talk about some examples. The one I just went through, launching a profitable business. Okay, you can see that you could use that pathway to help launch a profitable business. You've got end to end, the vision, the milestones, classes that'll support your learning and your actions, and then an action plan. But there's so many other things that people are interested in. Maybe they want to create a masterpiece, their own masterpiece. It could be art, it could be some unique expression of who they are. We have wonderful classes that could help with that. Maybe they want to travel the world and they want some information about how to do that safely and economically, and maybe understand cultures that they haven't been exposed to. We've got great classes to help with that. And then the other thing that the Great Discovery helps with is relationships. So maybe they want to really enjoy their family more. We've got great programs for kids. We've got great programs for teens. We've got great programs for families. So maybe we can craft a pathway to enjoy family time. I know we can. How about your community? So many people want to make a difference in their community, whether that's local or global. So many of you are ministers and preachers of the Gospels and spirituality and religion, building strong communities. We can help craft that pathway to help build those communities wherever they are in the globe. And how about that special person in your life, right? You want a great relationship. Sandra and I always joke about the fact that we've helped people save their marriage, save their relationship through the Great Discovery by using the proven path. So there's so many ways that we can put together now the knowledge that people need. And I hope that you can see through this with Pathways, it's a way for you to reach out to learner communities. Maybe you want to join some groups on Facebook or other social media platforms in one of these topics and say, hey, is anybody interested in learning how to? And then, fill in the blank, whatever that is. We can craft these pathways of discoveries using the Great Discovery and our courses for any topic that learners are interested in. So again, I'm going to ask on your proven path, are you guys ready to be part of that 5%? Let me stop the share. Let me see who's ready. Who wants to be in the top 5%? The 5% that's going to change the world. All right. Yes, 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 yes. It is amazing. It is very satisfying work. It is a beautiful thing when people get to realize a dream that they've had for so long and they haven't ever been able to accomplish before simply because they didn't know how. Second order change the way you're thinking, and what's going to happen is your world's going to change. And you know what? 5% of the population that was engaged with Six Sigma transformed the business world. So we can transform the world as well by empowering humanity, bringing the Great Discovery to cultures all over the world. So, all right, that's what I wanted to cover for you guys today. Does anybody have questions or comments? Anything you want to talk about? I see lots of people definitely do. That's great. We need you. We need you all. Any questions? Go ahead, James.
Yes, so Kathy, great job. This is so exciting. Definitely want to be part of the 5%. This is, a lot of people don't really understand the reason we've made such leaps and bounds in the development of the Great Discovery is the fact that we've been building the Great Discovery using these principles. I mean, Six Sigma has been turning $1 million companies into billion-dollar companies and billion-dollar companies into trillion-dollar companies for 40 years. When you think about Motorola, I think the number was the first year they saved Motorola over $16 billion, if I'm not mistaken.
5 years. It was a 5-year.
Oh, the first 5 years. Okay.
Yes, it was a 5-year journey. But yes, I mean, for an investment, and it was less than 10 million for a relatively small investment. Yes, huge savings.
Yeah, and so they've been doing that now for companies for over 40 years, and it was such an incredible model that every branch of the United States military uses Six Sigma as well. So jump in and take part in this. It's a huge value that we have here at the Great Discovery. Many of us have it as part of our initial investment in the Great Discovery. So it's like having this big pile of gold sitting there that we're kind of ignoring. And I've been guilty of it. You know, you get busy and you find excuses, right? And now it's time for us to make the right decision and really just dig in and get going with this. And if you have questions, go ahead and raise your hand. I just thought I'd hop in while we're waiting for questions. I do want to share a couple of things. Number one, Discovery Saturday, this Saturday is coming up this Saturday. You do not want to miss it. This is going to be a whole new launch of a lot of new and exciting things. You want to tell your friends, your family, your team members, get your team members to Discovery Saturday. This is going to be huge. Coming up tomorrow on Thursday, you don't want to miss tomorrow, because I think Tim will probably share here in a minute or two, maybe even some more details. But this is going to be a huge now global or true global launch for the affiliate recruiting program. You know, we've been doing things in phases, and we're now moving to that next phase where we want to bring on a tremendous number of affiliates. Why? Affiliates sell courses, and it's that time in our evolution where we're moving to that phase 3, and we're really going to now become the most successful, greatest e-learning platform in the world in Six Sigma style. And I believe it's going to happen in very short order. So be there tomorrow. Tomorrow is a Thursday night, the affiliate opportunity meeting. You want to bring your guests, you want to get your team members on that. I just can't emphasize how important that is. We have an exciting event that's coming up in Franklin, Tennessee. It's coming up on May 17th and May 18th. It's 2-day boot camp where you're going to see integrating AI into building a phenomenal YouTube platform. We want to design our YouTube platforms to convert and make sales. You know, a lot of people use YouTube to have fun and play with. That's fine. I've been posting videos of my cute little girl since she was born on YouTube. So yeah, there's a lot of fun in that too. But in business, we want to use those YouTube accounts to drive revenue, build followers, and drive revenue. And so we're going to show you really how to use AI to really enhance your capabilities to have just a phenomenal business YouTube channel. You don't want to miss it. I'm going to put a link in the chat for it. We did have a little tech issue for people to get in and enroll. And so here's what we're doing. The 2-day event, Saturday, Sunday, is only $399. We're doing a special event Friday night where Ed and I are going to take just a select handful of people out for a VIP evening on the town. We'll have some drinks and hors d'oeuvres, and you know, hopefully your guys' camera breaks, because I'll probably be dancing and we'll be doing some karaoke. That's a little scary, you know, to imagine, but you know, that's why I don't shoot your cameras to work. But normally we charge for that night $199 VIP ticket. But for anybody who gets registered tonight for this event, we're going to include the VIP ticket for you. So that's like a $200 savings on that. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat box, and I don't want to take all of the time, so I'm going to turn this back over to Kathy and see what we have coming next. So thank you so much, Kathy, for all you do.
Oh, you're welcome, James. You know, when you were talking about when I started out, I was saying I'm kind of feeling like a kid on Christmas Eve, because you know something really cool is coming, but you don't know what. And tomorrow night, Saturday, and then your event, those are the things that are coming. They're really exciting. So I hope people partake of them. Go ahead, Tim. You wanna take it away?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Kathy. That was just probably the clearest presentation I've seen of the Great Discovery and the way it lays out. And you know, guys, as we all started with this, Sandra and Kathy have been working on the Great Discovery course for years now. You know, I got involved about 3 years ago with, Sandra. Finally, we got together and we figured, okay, how can we do this? And you know, we started exactly that with our mission in mind, our project in mind. Our project is to empower humanity. We're at the biggest changing point in world history right here, our lifetimes, not back, you know, decades ago with our grandparents, our lives, right? And so how can we do that? Well, we know it's by empowering people with knowledge. And so what's the best way to be able to get knowledge? Well, what's the restraining force? It's not everyone can understand. So we broke through that. You know, not everyone has a way of being able to communicate on social media. So we broke through that with peer-to-peer marketing and people telling others. So rolling all of this out, we've literally deployed that proven path, and we're continuously hitting our milestones. So we're on milestone of a phase 3 right now. And the key with this is you can do the same thing in your coaching business. You can do the same thing in your training business. You can do the same thing in your great discovery business. What your core values are, your passion aligned with your project, follow this process, and it is golden. They call it the proven path, not because it's unproven, but because it's proven. One of the top 10 business innovations in the last 150 years, that's pretty proven. You know, taking companies like Motorola, all the US military, all the others, and transforming them into what they've become today. Global business is because, in part, because of of Six Sigma, which is the great discovery. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Thank you so much, Kathy. If you want to take advantage of this, all of you that have already enrolled with the Affiliate Success Pack or the Creator Pro Pack, go ahead and you've got that course, engage with it. We've got coaching services, we've got training, work it. You know, it's like, as Kathy said, very aptly said, you're going to spend the next 6 months doing something. Why not improving yourself? And I quoted in the chat with my friend Jim Britt what he said: if you think it's too expensive to do what you want to do, wait till you see the cost of what staying where we're at, particularly when it comes to all these transformations that are coming through machine learning. If you stay where you're at and you're not adapting, you're not growing, it's going to be expensive for you, right? And so we're trying to help people break through. That's really what we hope that you'll join us. If you'd like to get started with a great discovery course and you haven't done that, it's on the platform. You know, you can't go wrong by getting it started. All it's going to do is move you up. You know, so we'll move on from there. Let's go. I want to real quickly just share what's coming up here in just a couple of minutes. We've got Dr. Howard Rankin is going to be coming on live in just a couple of minutes with the 7 pillars of support. And this is on our new course Spotlight. He's going to teach you how to build a solid support team that can be the key to real behavioral change. It's kind of like that first order change that, you know, Kathy was talking about with weight loss, and when you gain it back a few months later, we're talking second order change. And sometimes it takes support. You need that encouragement. You need that guidance. And Dr. Howard Rankin, if you haven't heard him before, guys, stay on for this. And this is a new course Spotlight that you'll be able to also do. When you got your course up, you can spotlight your course. You've got the replay and the recording and get it out and translate it and everything else. But more importantly, it's getting those initial affiliates familiar with your content so that they can effectively promote it to learners. So if you're not scheduled for a new course Spotlight, get scheduled, and also tune in with Dr. Rankin right now, just starting in a minute, and to show him, not only show him some support, but get some great value so you're familiar with what's going on. So with that, I'm going to wrap up this session that we've got here tonight, and we will stop the share here and get everything up and going. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna, if you guys want to just hang out for just a couple of minutes. We've got time for one more question, I think, before somebody comes, before Dr. Howard comes on. Any last questions or any other comments that anybody has before we close out the session?
Remember, you can be part of the 5%. So I hope that's motivating, right? So jump into the pool and do the great discovery. It really will change your life. Everybody that does it, that really invests their time and energy in it, says that. I know it's true for me and Sandra and all the others who've done it. So go for it. And we're here to help.
Ed, I think you had a comment. Are you still available?
No, it's okay that we don't have enough time for the course Spotlight, so it's okay. We can, no worries.
Okay, my last comment is Deronda Aiken with her black hat there. This is the dark Deronda version. She's out there just really pushing the energy. So pretty good to see you, Deronda. Thank you everybody for joining on. I'm going to close
you,
out
everybody.
our live YouTube feed. Share this. The replays are available in your video archive that's on your events tab on your every event that we've got is all available for replay. You can share it, you can link it to others, and they're all linked back to your site as well. So I'm going to close this out. I hope you guys will hang on, and we're going to turn it over to, hey, Dr. Kathy, you're the